Hi everyone. So today we are going to see about object-oriented programming language. So previously we have seen the programming approach with a real-time comparison. Now we are going to see another way of programming. So previously what we have seen is a procedural way. Procedural way means so we are only dealing with how to solve particular problem. If we are doing addition, so we only worry about how to add two numbers. That's it. So we don't worry about who is going to add that particular number. So those things we are not consider. But when we are doing the programming with the object-oriented approach, so we are worrying about who is that person who is working who is applying that particular function, who is applying that particular method or function. The both are same, and who is applying that particular attribute. So those things are also to be considered when we are dealing with an object-oriented programming approach. So to simplify this, so we are creating some human or some blueprint of something, and we are creating that as an object. A certain script we are creating it as an object-oriented approach. So, and we are solving our functionalities. So we are going to see today's. So what is the advantages of this particular object-oriented approach over our traditional procedural approach? Procedure is just solving that particular statement. For example, withdrawing means, so withdraw, if you call the withdraw in your script, whoever is calling that particular withdraw, it can provide you withdrawal amount. Who can, you no need of specifying any person, but anyone can withdraw it. And similarly, deposit or transfer. But if you are considering an object-oriented approach, then the particular person who is owning that particular account only can able to withdraw that particular money from his account. So that is the object-oriented approach as in a simplified manner. So in real world, everything is an object. So for example, pencil, apple, book, bag, human, trees, and everything is an object. Okay. So how it is implemented in the programming, we are going to see one by one. For example, there is called as a class. Class is nothing but a blueprint of a particular object, a blueprint of a real-time object or real-time objects, uh, how it is looks like. So that is a class. Class is a blueprint of do something. Okay, and it might have a color, it might have a different kind of behaviors. It might have attributes and it might have behaviors. So for example, car, if you consider car might have a mileage and color and what else, price. There are so many things. So whether it is a luxury car or customized budget car or whatever it might be. So for example, here the class is a blueprint which is having a car and which having an attributes of which having attributes of color and different things, which is when we apply those things, and if we are creating certain thing that is called as an object. So to accessing that particular blueprint, we are creating something that is called as an object actually, basically. So Mercedes is an object, and which might have the attributes of color and the price, and similarly the mileage, those things. And also it might have a functionality of driving and other things. So cleaning and other stuff. So Mercedes is an object and it is accessing the blueprint of car. And similarly, BMW is an object and which is accessing a car. And similarly, RD is an object which is accessing a car. And each and everything having a different color that is called as attribute, and each and everything running in a different speed, that is its behavior. So we are going to see some more examples. So for example, the same thing, when the particular person is calling as a student, they should have a roll number, and they should have a class, college, school name, and they should have something, the subject they are studying. So those things, if they are building, then only they become a blueprint of the student. actually in the real world. So that is Mary, Ram, John. When they become a student, they should have a roll number. They should have enrolled in some school. Then only they will become a student of the blueprint. Then that is called as a class. And object is Mary is in a different object, and he might have study in a different class and different color, different height, and whether she might she or he, so the gender difference, so everything will be there. So for example, so in this example you will clearly observe who is object and who is a blueprint, and in that blueprint what we have actually. So in that blueprint we have something called states and behaviors, that is nothing but our variable and functions. So what is variable? It might have a name, age, color, and gender, so those things. So similarly the behaviors or the functions are what they will eat and they will drink, that is a function, and they will run, they will study, those things are the functions. If you see the objects, there are three different persons called John, Sophia, Lily. They are the objects of accessing that student blueprint, that is a class, and they have their behaviors. When they have those behaviors, then only they will become an object of that particular blueprint. Okay, so we are going to see what is the futures of using this object oriented programming approach in next slide. So John is a person and he is at 12 years old, and he can eat more, drink more, run fast. So this is his behaviors. So this can be achievable in programming language, and only John only can able to access his informations, and Sophia only can access her informations, and Lily only can able to access her information. So we are going to see what we can get by using object oriented programming approach. So we are having it multiple steps. First of all, object is nothing but they are the persons, or they are the one who is accessing that particular blueprint that we have mentioned previously, car or student or something. So if you are accessing, I'm Shiva, I'm going to access that particular student blueprint, then I should have a roll number. So this is the first step. Okay, then they have a inheritance means, so if you have a multiple classes and one class is dependent on another class, or one class having a direct or indirect connections. For example, if you are creating a blueprint of mother, and if you are creating a blueprint of son, they might have interconnection. So that interconnection we can able to create it in the programming approach as well. That is called as inheritance. We are going to see that example as well. So, and the polymorphism means, so if you're creating some blueprint called shape, then if you're calling something called area or something, so it might vary for object to object. If it is in a rectangle, that is different. Square, it is different. And another one is an abstraction in a sense, so hiding the internal details. So if you are considering a TV, how it is manufactured, how many transistor it's kept, and how many voltage it is consuming, we don't know those internal details. We just watch the TV, that's it. So that is an abstraction. Similarly, we no need of worrying about how that particular entire class functionalities has been implemented, that blueprint functionality has been implemented. We only worry about our concerned functions, and we no need of worrying about other things. Okay, so that is called as an abstraction. And encapsulation in a sense, so this class has binding the informations of both variables and methods, methods in a sense. Whenever I'm calling mentioning methods, that is nothing but functions. Okay, so behaviorals in real world, it is a behaviorals, and these two things are combined in the that blueprint, then that is called as an encapsulation. That particular state or behavior or that particular term is called as an encapsulation, which means entity is captured. Okay, so entity in a sense object, so that is captured under the particular blueprint. Okay, so that is encapsulation. Then the process abstraction, data abstraction in a sense. So for example, if you are owning a car, you just worrying about how to drive that particular car and when to fill your fuel. You no need of worrying about how your piston speeds up, how your car is manufactured in the factory. So those kind of details you no need of worrying about. That means changing the piston speed when you are pressing the accelerator at this much speed, 550 speed. So how many times your uh, piston is working inside your engine, that you no need to worry about it. That is called as an abstraction. So you just worry about the things you worry about those things. So that is a public part, and the private part you no need of worrying about it. It internally it handles. Okay, so those things can be achievable in the data abstraction. If you're implementing the programming with the object-oriented approach, you will get these kind of features. So this is mainly important when you are dealing with any sensitive informations, like withdrawing the money from ATM. So you no need of worrying about how ATM works, and you no need of worrying about if you are implementing a TV functionality. You need the person no need of worrying about how it is connected, that the transistors are connected to each other, and how it is forming the colors in our display. Those things you no need to worry about it. So why you only worry about the changing the channels and watching your favorite show. So, and the inheritance I already shown, I have already discussed, right? So the parents is a kind of a blueprint means, and we have something called a child is another blueprint. So but the parent and child having a interconnection. So parents accessories can be accessed by the child. That is an that is a behavioral we can able to get it from the parents. So properties from the parents can be accessible to the child. So that kind of things can be implemented in the programming world also. So with the two different blueprints can access the functionality at certain level. That is called as an inheritance. And the polymorphism, means many, and morphism means shape. So polymorphism means so many shapes. One particular blueprint functionality can act differently to different way. For example, a human is in a particular blueprint, and it might have the function called work. Okay, so then that particular work is a differently will behaved in a different manner. For example, if he is going to a shop, he will behave as a customer, and if he is going to home, he will act as a family man, and if he is enjoying with friends, he will enjoy as a friend, so he will do the fun. So this is how the polymorphism will works. So the example here is if you are having a shape as a blueprint, and it contains a behavioral as our behavior, that method or function as a calculate area and display that particular shape. If rectangular will behave differently, and circle will behave differently, and triangle will behave differently for the particular same functionality, then this is called as polymorphism. And how it is implemented in the script. So this is how it is implemented. The class is a blueprint. You need to create it, and then you have to mention your variables. So your variables is in a sense it's an attributes. So we might call the term variable in a different way. Sometimes we might call it as a identifiers in our early classes, and now it is called as attributes. So that is a different way. So you should remember all the terminologies actually. And this contains different functionalities, that is called as methods here actually. So in the class, if you create something called variable, that is a member variable, or and the functions are member functions. So member, what is a member? That is entity is a member, and entity or reference variable. Entity is nothing but object. That object only can able to access the same function, the functionalities. For example, the bicycle is created by Ram, then that Ram only can able to access his own own bicycle functionalities, and some other person called John is created some bicycle means, then John only can able to access his own bicycle blueprint. So that's the beauty of object oriented programming approach. So only the authenticated person can able to access that particular class functionalities. That authenticated person is called as object, and the blueprint is called as a class. Hope you like this particular video. If you like it, please like and subscribe it. Comment your feedbacks for the betterment. Thank you so much.